The secret behind the elusive super soldier formula is one of the biggest ongoing mysteries in the MCU, and until the events of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, any attempts to replicate Erskine's original formula were often regarded as complete failures. Throughout the course of the MCU, we've seen a number of semi-successful super soldiers arise in recent memory, from the Winter Soldiers to the Red Guardian, but none have quite hit the same level as the original iteration of Captain America, Steve Rogers. Through the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, however, another performance-enhancing project was introduced into the MCU by proxy, a serum developed by Oscorp and Norman Osborn. We are of course talking about the experiment that granted the Green Goblin his enhanced physical capabilities all the way back in 2002. While the original super soldier formula remains a staple of the MCU, is it possible that the new Goblin serum is on par with Erskine's original design? Before we answer this question, we are giving away several highly posable Spider-Man figures, 2 Iron Spiders and 2 normal Spider-Man figures, with the next winner being announced on the 14th. To enter, all you have to do is like the video, subscribe with notifications on, and then follow the rest of the very basic rules in the description. Now, let's go ahead and continue. Watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, welcome back to the channel, and let's take a deep dive into which serum is ultimately more powerful and has the capability of creating the superior super soldier. Is it the Goblin serum or the super soldier Erskine serum? For this video, we will be discussing certain physical aspects of each character and analyzing which serum seems to amplify the characteristics to the greatest degree. While there have been various replicants of Erskine's serum, none are a perfect copy of the original, and they all have their own deviations on the original serum. Therefore, we will be comparing Steve Rogers from the MCU to Norman and Harry Osborn of the Raimi era, seeing as both Osborns received virtually the same treatment. However, some have speculated that Harry received a smaller dose than his father did, leading to the possibility of Norman being slightly stronger and more enhanced than his son. To start off, let's analyze their physical strength and the strength gifted to a subject after receiving the formula. Throughout the Raimi films, the Osborns have shown formidable feats of strength in their battles with Spider-Man, with Norman being able to single-handedly hold up a cable car full of innocent bystanders during the climax of the original Spider-Man film. We see him holding this cable car with one hand while holding Mary Jane in the other. While these cable cars can weigh upwards of 17,000 pounds with passengers, it's important to note that these systems work on counterweight systems that utilize a system of counterbalances. While the exact mechanics are not worth delving into in extreme depth right now, the important note is that he may not be lifting the entirety of the 17,000 pound weight. But this seems to be a reasonable upward limit to his strength capabilities, especially again since the Goblin is holding it with a single hand and doesn't seem to be struggling very much at all. Something else to take into note though is it's also unconfirmed how much his tactical battlesuit is assisting with this, but regardless, this is a truly impressive feat of physical strength by Norman. Steve Rogers, however, has a much longer tenure of displaying the upward limits of his incredible strength, while his most notable instances include him single-handedly stopping an Airbus AS-350 helicopter from taking off in Captain America Civil War, and lifting multiple vehicles throughout the years. One feat of strength often goes overlooked and we think should be highlighted, especially in comparison to the Goblin. In the Winter Soldier, Buckley is pinned beneath a steel beam, and throughout our investigation we were able to find multiple estimates for how heavy a beam this size might weigh, contributed by professional engineers from across the world. Based on this research, estimates for the weight of this beam seem to range anywhere from 10 to as much as 35 tons, with most contributors being in general agreement. Even on the low end, this would far exceed Norman's cable car feat by upwards of 3,000 pounds at a bare minimum. This is all while Cap has been wounded multiple times and has just seen drastic battle damage from his conflict with the Winter Soldier and the Hydra operatives against which he had faced off. He had sustained gunshot fire and knife wounds in multiple places, which subsequently hospitalized the super soldier in the following day. Captain America has also destroyed parts of the Mark 46 armor in Civil War. And Tony Stark stated in the first Iron Man film that he makes his suit from a specialized gold titanium alloy. It takes roughly 25,000 pounds per square inch at minimum to bend titanium. And while Cap used his shield for several hits, we also see him tear Tony's helmet off with his bare hands. These seem to indicate that as far as strength, the Erskine serum is superior to Norman Osborn's serum. However, it's actually surprisingly close, and again, we don't have a lot of feats from the Green Goblin in that first Raimi film. But it's not all about strength. Now, let's assess each respective character's durability and their ability to take physical punishment. We know that one of Captain America's defining character traits is standing up against physical threats, even when he is believed to be beaten. We see him take beatings from Bucky, Tony, and even the Mad Titan Thanos, and each time he gets back up and continues to fight on. In Spider-Man 3, Harry Osborn took a severe fall at the hands of Peter Parker, resulting in a head injury that rendered him comatose for several days and nearly killed him. While this seems to be reasonable for an average combatant, perhaps the only time we've seen Cap completely knocked out and unconscious was at the hands of Thanos in Infinity War, and it seems reasonable to deduce that this punch exerted far more force than Harry Osborn's fall did. Norman Osborn, however, seems to be able to take far more physical torment without the same signs of pain or even slowing down. While Cap always gets up, he has been slowed down by each of these aforementioned fights, and it seems to take him a considerable amount of effort to stand back up after each of these encounters. In No Way Home, Tom Holland's iteration of Peter Parker fights Norman on numerous occasions, and in the apartment complex, he hits Norman in the face repeatedly with minimal signs of physical harm, in perhaps one of the most chilling MCU scenes to date. Not only does Norman not take damage here, but he actively laughs off all of the hits. We also see Peter unleash the fullest extent of his anger on Norman after the battle atop the Statue of Liberty, and while he ultimately beats Norman, it takes a considerable amount of effort without Peter holding back. This is the same iteration of Spider-Man that was able to effortlessly catch a punch from Bucky's mechanical arm and hold together a split fairy for several agonizing seconds. Peter Parker is often regarded as one of the strongest human characters in the Marvel Universe, and Bucky's punches were able to cause a considerable amount of pain for Cap, who has fought the Winter Soldier on multiple occasions. And yet, Norman was able to shake off a beating from Peter relatively effortlessly. An enraged Peter also. This seems to indicate that as powerful as Cap is, and as well as he can take a hit, his physical durability pales in comparison to that of Norman Osborn. Or perhaps their durability is also similar, but Norman's ability to take the pain is clearly far greater than the potential that Steve has. Next, let's address physical agility and flexibility. Steve Rogers is widely regarded as one of the most talented acrobats and most skilled fighters in the MCU, and we see this routinely put on display throughout his films. His speed allows him to dispatch multiple enemies at once, and he's even used this agility in tandem with other heroes to amplify his own combat prowess. For this, the opening scene of Civil War, wherein he and his team work to dispatch a team of mercenaries led by Crossbones, serves as the perfect example of Cap in his prime. Additionally, the helicarrier launch in the Winter Soldier sees Steve effortlessly combat dozens of Hydra agents with relative ease. Captain America has taken down Quinjets, kept pace with the Black Panther, and has widely shown himself to be one of the most capable fighters in the Marvel Universe, with his acrobatics and speed on full display. Norman and Harry, however, seem to rely more on gadgetry and sophisticated technology rather than their fighting skill, launching their attacks from afar while on their gliders. Even when they do come into physical conflict with Spider-Man or other opponents, their fighting styles seem to follow a brutish style of kickboxing and fisticuffs. They show minimal agility throughout the course of the Raimi trilogy, and while their technology is certainly impressive, it is not a result of the Goblin Serum, and it seems as if Steve Rogers, the skinny kid from Brooklyn, is the superior athlete in this regard. While it seems to be relatively evenly matched, and each serum has their own distinct advantages, this is one area that solidifies one clear individual as the superior of the three fighters. However, this could have to do more with Steve Rogers and his training than the actual serum itself, with the potential of both the new Goblin and the Green Goblin to become superior fighters, at least to their current forms. Again though, this is in comparison to the greatest hand-to-hand fighter in the Marvel Universe. One of the most dire side effects of the Goblin Serum was the insanity associated with the experiment, and the birth of the dual identity that Norman was plagued with throughout his life. The Goblin Serum ruptured his psyche and drastically damaged his mental stability throughout the course of not only the first Raimi film, but also in No Way Home. In Spider-Man 3, however, Harry Osborn seemed to mitigate this, as he was able to reach the physical benefits of the serum without the mental impurities. Harry was driven by anger and revenge throughout Spider-Man 3, but he seemed to show minimal signs of being mentally damaged in the same way as Norman. This seems to indicate that Harry's iteration and his formula was in some way altered. Either that, or Harry did not have the same predispositions as his father and was not afflicted with the same side effects as a result of his own mental stability. While this is certainly an enhancement from the original iteration of the Goblin formula, the Erskine formula did not have negative mental effects on Steve Rogers, but it actively augmented Steve Rogers' tactical prowess and mental capabilities. As Erskine put it, it amplified the good in Steve, while it would have amplified the bad in others. It has been confirmed that Steve's mind was strengthened by the serum as well, and part of his incredible tactical deduction capabilities is directly attributed to the original Super Soldier program that augmented his physical strength. While the Osborn experiments and the Goblin formula are certainly admirable feats of science and genetic engineering, not to mention terrifying ones, the final fact seems to solidify Steve Rogers and the Super Soldier Serum as the superior performance enhancing compound. Therefore, here at the channel we have deduced that Erskine's Super Soldier Serum is superior to the Oscorp Norman Serum. But anyway, my friends, what do you think of our analysis? And do you agree with our conclusion, or do you believe that there's something that we missed, be it a feat of strength or agility? As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching the channel. Hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and have a great day.